My father had an anger problem, and my father was abusive. I think I was around the age of 10 or 11. He bought a cow prod and used to shock us. He had a thing that he called sessions. Now remember, I've got all these degrees behind my name. I'm the good kid. I'm the overachiever. My little brother got the brunt of the violence. These sessions where he used to just beat you with a fist. Now, whenever those things happened, I would walk away. I didn't want to hear it. So he always lived in fear of my dad. You couldn't attach to him. My stepmother couldn't bond to her either. And I was raised to hate my real mother, so I wasn't allowed to call her mommy growing up. So literally, I remember when I was in seminary, a little girl came by me one day, about 3 years old, and kids just asked questions. I was sitting outside of my apartment there at seminary housing, and she looked at me and she says, "Where's your mommy live?" I was 27 years old, and I remember the feeling inside. I didn't know. And this emptiness came in. I don't have a mother. My father had been dead, but I never attached to him. But in that moment, I realized I don't have a mother either. And I remembered the aloneness that I felt, how deeply alone. And I just said, Florida. And I went in the apartment and just cried and cried because I realized I'd never bonded. But how did that affect me? Pain pursues pleasure. My father was very hypersexual. He taught us a lot of things and said a lot of things when we were young. And he was always sexual themes. And so those sexual themes carried over with me. When I was a little boy growing up, he would say things like me, quit sitting like a girl, quit acting like a girl, quit doing this, quit walking like a girl. I thought I was gay or something. I didn't know. And so in my pursuit to not be gay, because I didn't want to be gay, I put a lot of pressure on girls growing up sexually. Why? Pain pursues pleasure. I don't want to be something. I'm afraid I'm that. I want to be loved and accepted, so I would pursue it through sexual conquering. Now, I was a virgin when I got married, but I had messed around a lot in other ways. Why? Because you had a wounded kid still looking for love, still looking for some affirmation that he was okay. Because the message of my life was, you're never okay, and you'll never be good enough. And in our pursuit, I developed this addictive personality. Compulsive eater, pornography, all those kinds of things. Why? Pain pursues pleasure. At least when you're in that, you get your dopamine and you feel better. But when it's all said and done, more pain, more despair, more sense of hopelessness and helplessness. Because the more that you act out and do things, the more your brain tells you, your sense of self goes, you're not good enough, look at you. You get it from the enemy, you get it from yourself, you get it from the world around you that tells you you're not good enough, maybe your parents. And you begin to believe the lie that you're not good enough, there's something wrong with you, and you hate yourself. Self-hatred in itself is a belief system to destroy your heart. It creates a lot of pain. So what do? Pain pursues pleasure. You keep acting on this pain in order to get a false sense that you're okay. If I can get somebody to notice me, or if I can go to be a prostitute, if I go to pornography, at least in that moment, I'm not dealing with the pain of the belief that I'm not good enough, that I'm bad, that I'm faulty, that I don't matter. All that shame that goes along with it. But in that moment, it's a reprieve. There is pleasure in sin, except for a season. The other thing that self-hatred does is not only will keep you from bonding in a human realm, which is required, love God, yourself, and others, but the first part of the great commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, your body, your whole being. You see, that self-hatred will also keep you from bonding to God, because there's something inside of you that says, you know what, I'm not good enough. My family's already told me I wasn't. I don't think that I'm good enough. And why would God want me? Look at what I do. And so that very self-hatred, that pain that's behind that self-hatred, actually keeps us from bonding intimately to the Father. It becomes a barrier that you can never experience pleasure in your relationship. And what happens with a lot of Christians is they either walk away from God, or they become performance-based. Well, if I just make him a little more happier, less R movies, more G movies. Maybe if I don't masturbate as much or not look at pornography, then maybe he'll be pleased with me. And then you mess up, and you think, well, he can't be pleased with me. I messed up. And it's this constant performance-based system over and over. You're beating yourself up and trying to earn this love. That's what I did. I remember when I got my doctorate, 2 masters and my doctorate from seminary, I thought, now my dad will be proud of me. Of course, it would never happen. When I was 10 years old, got straight A's, I thought, now I'll hear those words, you're good enough. I'm proud of you. And I gave him the report card. I'll never forget this. I gave him the report card, waiting for those words, I'm proud of you, son. He never said a word. He handed my report card back to me. He had put $100 inside the report card. He paid me. Now, I wasn't looking for money. I was looking for words. What was the message in my mind? You're still not good enough. He paid me. I wanted the words. The thing is, Father wants to give you love. Father wants to attach to you, but your self-hatred prevents him from it because there's a part of you that says, I'm not good enough. A lot of people who come to me for counseling or just support or open up, a lot of addicts especially, people who struggle, always have this sense of, I'm never going to be good enough. Besides, look at my life. Why would God want me? Why would God love me? And I've come to realize there's no good answer to that question. Matter of fact, there's not an answer to the question, why does God love me? Because the question's flawed. The question assumes something. It assumes you have the ability to influence his love for you. And the reality is, you don't. Why does a parent love their children? Most parents will go, well, they're my kids. That's not the reason. The reason you love your children is because you want to, and the reason that those parents don't love their children is because they don't want to. The reason parents love their kids isn't about the kids, it's about the parent. Same thing. When you've done all these things and you've been hurting and you've acted out, however that's been for all these years, and you went, why would God love me? I've done this, I've done that. Father looks at you and says, my love for you isn't about you. You can't make me not love you. My love for you is about me. Now, I might be disappointed in choices you've made, but disappointment in your choices isn't the same thing as loving you, son. You can't keep me from loving you. And we're not learning to walk in that. It isn't about us. He loves us because he wants to, and we can't stop it. And if you're watching this today and you're wondering, yeah, but I don't get it, it doesn't make sense, and Father would say, not my problem, it's yours. You have to learn to live in that. You can't keep me from loving you. It isn't about you. Maybe you're thinking, okay, all right, well, I've never felt that love. I've tried, but I've never really felt that love. I can't get there. And I go, you don't have to get somewhere, it's already there. It's already in front of you. What I would say is that your self-hatred and your performance is saying, I have to earn it. And I think Father goes, no, you don't. Learn to live in it. Now, how does God do it practically speaking? One, I believe we need to get close to the Father. I think you can do that through worship. I think also that God uses other people. I call them the one another verses. Love one another, encourage one another. You see, the way that God gives love in this realm is through the body, is through other people. And that's why the church has to be healthy and whole and mature and strong. Why? Because he looks to us to give those things, especially when marriage and family fail you. He uses the body. He uses a brother to come alongside and give me comfort. He has someone come along and give me the attention or the appreciation or the affection or the encouragement that I need. And if we're so broken and not mature enough, then we can't give it to those. So when people come to me and give me words of appreciation, that's Father giving that to me. And Father says, Rick, I prompted those people to come up and say those words to you. So don't throw it out, son. That's me at work. You just say thank you. That's me at work in your life. And I can learn to receive it from others because he will give it to me through others. That's why the body of Christ is a community. It's a family. We must be attentive to the needs of each other. It's really the art of loving people. Most conservative churches operate on a performance-based mentality. The performance-based mentality basically is about pleasing God. It's the message that I'm bad, he saved me, I need to please him to make him happy with me. And the reality is you can't make him not happy. But in that mentality, we no longer see intimacy as the goal. We see performing as the goal. I have to make him happy. Why? He saved me. I'm a sinner. I'm no good. I've got to make him happy. I want to please him. But the reality is you just work yourself to death and you never bond or attach. The right road is a road to trusting God. Hebrews says, for without faith, trust, it is impossible to what? Please God. We got to learn to walk in grace, intimacy with Father. Doesn't matter what I've done, he's not going to throw me away or leave me. In performance-based systems, it's about what you do, self-effort. I have to earn it. In a grace-based system of the New Testament, you can't earn it. It's already there. He gave it to you. We have to learn to embrace it.